is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
On feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach in it. Putting effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see. And what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, work towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
It was the most memorable time of my life. It was a touching moment because I never thought this day would ever happen. I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's gonna help me.
How do you give you a phone?
You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
Why are you here?
To get some money.
What kind of money?
Obama money.
Where's it coming from?
Obama.
And where did Obama get it?
I don't know. His stash. I don't know. I don't know where he got it from. But he giving it to us to help us. We love him. That's why we voted for him.
I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage.
Did Obama pay for your mortgage? And did he pay for your gas?
Absolutely not. Mortgage got worse and prices got higher. During that time, we needed a change, but a change for the better, not for the worse. He had a very big voice, just like the Wizard of Oz. The wizard with this little teeny, tiny man. And I think it's the same thing with Obama, man behind the curtain. Not who we thought or expected him to be. I was Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. That's how I feel. I was Dorothy. I started getting a little bit more educated about politics and reading more. What I learned is never trust the wizard. It's within ourselves to have the determination, the courage, and the brains to bring us to our destiny.
If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
Going into this night, where do we stand?
This is where we stood coming into the night. 268 to 204, so clearly an advantage for Secretary Clinton.
Take a look here. If Donald Trump wins tonight, no matter who they voted for, take a look at these numbers here. 21% say they'll be concerned. 37% say they'll be scared.
This is what both candidates want. They want to be living there starting January 20th of next year. Florida been going back and forth. Just changed again. It's only 11,000 vote lead just now. It changed.
Math on your feet. I like this.
The Empire State Building in New York City. Take a look at our running tally of the electoral vote. Anderson, this night is turning out to be a real nail-biter.
All along, the Trump campaign has been saying that
Florida's a must-win for them. And I mean,
they can't win without it.
Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida.
You know, I'm guessing that the people in Brooklyn, I can see their fingers
That's
probably.
the Hillary Clinton headquarters.
Yeah, fingers probably bleeding because there's no more nail to bite.
I wouldn't call anything encouraging for Hillary Clinton at the moment, to be honest with you, my friend.
Wolf, the scene here is so different than it was a few hours ago when people were happy and relaxed. I have been looking around the room at people who are stone-faced. Some of them have been crying.
This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president.
This is the people rising up saying it's time to listen to us. It's time to listen to us in Michigan and Wisconsin and work for the people.
Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump to concede the race.
Came outside to try to process all this.
Hillary will never take us to the promised land.
I mean,
come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
I can't even.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
I can't.
It's the fact that I say things that people agree with. Because I tell the truth.
I mean,
She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of our nation. Why would she be a good president?
I can't.
Come on, try getting it out.
I can't put it into words. I don't know what the words are.
The fake media tried to stop us from going to the White House, but I'm president and they're not.
It's a lot to process.
You're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the mainstream media, breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. I know on the schedule it says drive-by headlines, but I'm not sure there's going to be a drive-by headlines anymore. Joe Ugly has quit like 3 times already this week on his radio show. Of course, he told me he was just here for pundits. And he told me, you know, that he might be back. He still has to, you know, gather his thoughts together. You know, fix his skirt. Poor Joe Ugly. You know, and I understand when you lose so much, it's hard to come back, you know, for the beating. But, so drive-by headlines is up in the air right now because of Joe. You know, this morning on his radio show, and I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about Joe Ugly a little bit because this slot would be the hour for my show, Drive-By Headlines with Joe Ugly, where we go at each other, which is what the show is about. It's about a debate. Him on the left, me on the right, and we go at each other, right? And the thing is that he's making personal judgments, you know, he's taking stuff personal. Well, he was making personal judgments this morning. He was even talking about my granddaughters this morning. Think about that. He's putting my granddaughters in his mouth, you know, so it's getting a little personal, you know, but he's saying that I'm for separating families and everything, which is kind of absurd. You know, because I want the laws of the land to be fulfilled, to be followed. I'm for separating families. So what he's saying is that anybody who goes to jail and leaves their children behind, he's for separating those families. It's the same thing. The law is the law. Now, if we don't like the law, what we do is we go to the ballot box, we vote different people in so that they could change the law. That's how America works. But Joe doesn't seem to know how America works, or he doesn't care to know how America works. But saying that because the immigration department is following the law and separating these families. Because, look, they arrest the parent. The child doesn't go to jail with the parent. That's common sense. They don't do that here for us in America. They don't do that here. Well, I mean, they are following American laws, right? These people are coming to America. So when you go to jail, your kids get taken away and separated and get put into the system. That's how America works, Mr. Joe Ugly. Or like Joe the Weed guy calls him, Ugly Joe. All right, but let's correct some of Joe's facts also, saying that I am for separating families, right? Because the Democrats, just a couple of weeks ago, had a big media movement about these pictures showing little kids in cages, right? Little kids in jail, basically, in cages, almost like animals. And they were saying how Trump has these kids in cages. And it turns out they were using pictures from azcentral.com, a story that they had covered in 2014. And those kids in cages were put in cages by Barack Hussein Obama, by that administration. So, by Joe's own standards, he was supporting putting kids in kennels like dogs, like animals. He was supporting separating families because that's what was happening in 2014. Of course, Joe lives in his own world, right? Where only he's right. Only his side of the story gets to be heard. Only his partial facts get to be presented to you. And that's what's his problem with this radio show that we normally have. He doesn't want my side to get a listen. He feels I'm actually affecting change. And his goal, for some reason, on his radio show this morning, was that he's not affecting change in me. Well, don't worry about me, Joe. You don't have to affect change in me. I'm where I want to be. I'm not part of your group of zombies that follow you lockstep. No matter what Joe says, he has to be right. No, Joe is wrong a lot. But go to azcentral.com. Look up those 2014 pictures. Look up those pictures of those kids in cages. And remember that Joe supported that. Mr. Joe Ugly supported having those children in cages. Let me tell you what else Joe Ugly supported, since he's throwing everything that Trump does on my lap. Let me tell you what else, okay? Fast and Furious. That was a case in which our government was running guns under Eric Holder. And those guns made their way to Mexico and killed hundreds of Mexicans, including children. That's something else Joe Ugly supported. Right? Because he was with Obama. So it has to be that he's an awful human being to support that. He's a horrible human being to be behind Obama after killing hundreds of Mexicans with these guns. See, two can play this game, Joe. And you distorting facts to try to make your ego feel better because you only win on your show in the morning because there's no one there to actually challenge you. If that's what you want, you got your show. You got it 5 days a week. You will figure that's enough stroking of your ego. But, you know, it is what it is, right, Joe? All right, we're going to come right back. I'm going to play some music. We'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News. Not drive-by headlines because Joe's not here. No show, Joe. Down goes Frazier.
Uh-huh. Berserk. Whoa. Listen. Put a flame to the L, couple drags, lift off, drift off, facial paint and Henny to sip off, contemplate this music, working, knocking his flip off, his crisscross, these niggas starting to get soft, that's backwards, and making nieces for actors, they non-factors, the paper's all that attract us, business spitting lies, he just paint the pictures he captures, I'm turning up the degrees, feel like I got my masters, I just mastered my craft, even though I came up from the lower half of my class, if my teachers could see me now, I look back and I laugh, it's like the more people that doubt me, the faster I dash, they can't fuck with my drive, I'm switching lanes on them. Crossovers, zero stuff, getting bangs on them. Money go up and down, yeah, I shuffle the ish. But I'm in my bag when it comes time to ruffle the chips. Regular hustler ish. Come to try and muscle the strip. But you know how them customers get. Can't be making major moves, trying rushing the ish. Cause that vulnerability, I have you trusting the ish. Like saying you hit it, but you ain't talking to chick. Come on, dog, that ain't nothing legit. Listen, y'all, you tripping if y'all think I need a crutch in this ish. I got what I need, a gram and it's Dutch and it's lit, it's lit. So what's up? They hearing and I'm about to blow up. Show enough, they ain't even see it coming, but they know what's us. So when them haters see me, they already know what's up. Already know what's up. You already know what's up. Quit frontin' like you don't know what's up. You keep frontin' like you don't know what's up. When we already know, y'all be knowing what's up. I view the opposition. The number one rule of the head say is not to listen. A nigga could lose his drive if he pop a piston. Try and make boss moves when not in position. Listen. That shit is not suggested. Put in my blood, sweat, and tears with my guap invested. The number one rule of my patience is not to test it. I've been a grown man, won't let my pops address it. Nah, I can speak for myself. They can be plotting low, that's why I keep the heat in my belt. They can to tell you this shit that you can see for yourself. No matter how bad it be for your health. But your brother lend a hand just cause he know you needed the help. Not a fam on a mission, I could've defeated myself. Two heads are better than one hand watch the other. In no case when the situation get heated, I melt. I've been a rock, brick mason, cinder block. Never fold under pressure, in other words, I bit a lot. I ain't scared of this when they come to getting a bigger pie. Hating after all this time, then it's been an eye. I've been a rock, brick mason, cinder block. Never fold under pressure, in other words, I bit a lot. I ain't scared of this when they come to getting a bigger pie. A bigger pie, a bigger pie. So what's up? They hearing and I'm about to blow up. Show enough, they ain't even see it coming, but they know what's us. So when them haters see me, they already know what's up. Already know what's up. You already know what's up. Quit frontin' like you don't know what's up. You keep frontin' like you don't know what's up. When we already know, y'all be knowing what's up.
All right, you're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. All right. Now, look, this is... You know when somebody's losing. You know when somebody's losing an argument when they get off of the issues. They stop talking about the issues and they personally attack you. Right? And when they actually bring your kids or your wife or your grandchildren. He brought my grandchildren into this. That's cowardice. You know, so, Joe, come on, man. You're better than that. You're better than that. Come at me on the issues. I'm sure you're going to get to win a couple of times. I know it's a bad streak for you guys. The Democrats are losing big time. You know, so look, I enjoy my show with Joe Ugly when we do it. But if his feelings are going to be hurt by it or after every show, so be it, you know? So let me correct another thing he was saying this morning, right? Because it's sad when people put misinformation out there, right? So he was talking about how there are missing children, right? He was saying that the government can't find something like 1,400 children, immigrant children who got separated at the border. Or not so much separated. Let me just finish this thought. But so he said, when you put the word missing next to children, it doesn't sound right. What's the Trump administration did with the children? You know, that's so dishonest and unintelligent that it's crazy, right? Now, you have all the major papers who did a story on it. I'm going to read just a portion, you know, of it from the New York Times, right? So, officials at the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees refugee resettlement, began making calls last year to determine what happened to 7,635 children the government had helped place between last October and the end of the year. From these calls, officials learned that 6,075 children remained with their sponsors. 28 had run away, 5 had been removed from the United States, and 52 had been relocated to live with a non-sponsor. The rest were unaccounted for, giving a rise to the 1,475 number. It is possible that some of the adult sponsors simply chose not to respond. And that's what happened, right? Most of the sponsors didn't respond to the call by the officials, right? But, so 1,475, that 1,475 number is what the media put, that we have 1,475 missing or unaccounted for children from immigrant children, right? And that's what Joe's talking about. But he puts his spin on it, and it's so dishonest, right? Let me continue the article. Losing track of children who arrive at the border alone is not a phenomenon. A 2016 Inspector General report showed that the federal government was able to reach only 84% of children. 2016, right? 84% of children it had placed, leaving 4,159 unaccounted for. And that's the 159. In 2016, that report, and that was under the Obama administration, right? And you don't hear, or you didn't hear, the media or the likes of Joe Ugly saying that Obama, what? The word missing next to children. What does that mean? What is the Obama administration doing with immigrant children? Right? And that's the dishonesty of the people who claim to be bringing you real facts. This is the real facts, right? Over 4,000 children in the 2016 IG report under the Obama administration, and nobody cared. But 1,400 this year under the Trump administration, and everybody cares where the children are, right? That's the problem. It's the constant lying, the constant putting your own spin, changing the true context of the information. That's what's happening. Right? All right, gonna play some more music, and I'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News on 103.5 FM, WNHHLP. Be right back.
I don't wanna go nowhere. Tell mother niggas fall away, cause you found a better one. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna let you fall away. Oh, I'm thinking about when we gon' touch. 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 When I'm up, I still ride for you. Only girl that I want is you. I ain't looking, but I still found you. Show you something others can't do. Oh, got me feeling no way when they say you the same ain't in their head. So don't go away, I ain't gonna let you go away. I'ma keep you right here to myself. I ain't trying to show no one else. We can keep it on the low, but you can still let them other niggas know. Tell me why you playing with it. I'm just trying to tell you why you playing with it. Them other niggas lying with it. I'ma show you that I ain't the same with it. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna go nowhere. Tell my lips in the fall away, cause you found a better one. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna let you fall away. Oh, I'm thinking about when we gon' touch. 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 She said she got a new thing. The way she got me feeling got me dropping on my boots. I'm just trying to do that. Get you over here, I'ma show you what's a few things. She said she wanna roll, we can go anywhere that you wanna go. She said she wanna be next to me. Ain't no other place you rather be. Got me feeling up when I'm with you. Wanna feel you up when I'm with you. Feeling like a drive when I'm with you. Wonder where you at when I'm with you. And I ain't gonna lie, the way you got me feeling, I'ma take my time. And I ain't gonna lie, girl, you got me feeling your vibe. Oh, I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna go nowhere. Tell my lips singing far away, cause you found a better one. I don't wanna let you fall away. I don't wanna let you fall away. Oh, I'm thinking about when we gon' touch. I'm thinking about when we gon' touch. I'm thinking about when we gon' touch. I'm thinking about when we gon' touch.
All right, you're listening to Breaking News on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. All right. FBI vows to train employees to avoid bias after devastating report. Now, it's interesting, right? Because the media is out there saying there was no bias in this report. And the FBI director actually says, you know, this does not basically taint the whole FBI. He says there's only a portion of the FBI. But there's no bias. But the FBI vows to train employees to avoid bias after devastating report. Now, why are they going to retrain employees against bias? Almost like Starbucks. They should close down the FBI for a couple of days. Okay, the FBI will make its employees undergo bias training, Director Christopher A. Wray promised Thursday, after a devastating report found the Bureau made bad decisions, had a culture of leaking sensitive information, and may have skewed campaign season decisions because of bias. New text messages released from the Justice Department Inspector General showing conversations between Deputy Assistant Director Peter Strzok and Paramore FBI lawyer Lisa Page suggest a deep anti-Trump sentiment. In one exchange, Ms. Page wanted reassurance that then-candidate Donald Trump couldn't win the election. Mr. Strzok replied, no, he's not. We'll stop it. We'll stop him. Now, I've been reading a few excerpts of the report, and you'll find that there's plenty of bias in there, right? There's actually five FBI employees who have been referred to for, I don't know, firing charges, discipline. They won't say yet. So, but they've been referred to for further action because it's crazy what these FBI agents and lawyers were thinking. Now, there's no smoking gun. There's no video showing them actually acting on all of their bias, right? So, because you can't see that in the paperwork, but you do see it in their text, their personal text, what they were thinking about as they did their job, right? So, the report says Comey, and basically what the report is saying is that Comey wasn't biased. That Comey wasn't biased in his decision, right? So Comey, and the reason you can't find bias with Comey is because he tried to screw both sides, right? He was insubordinate. The report says Comey was insubordinate, not following Department of Justice regulations, not following FBI regulations and norms, right? So he was insubordinate and doing his own thing. He was a rogue FBI director, right? But in him being rogue in that manner, he actually affected both sides. But and I will give it to the Clinton supporters that claim that Comey basically he was the one who took down Hillary Clinton. If you look at this report, you get that. You could get that out of it too. Because Comey being insubordinate and not following the regulations and norms of the FBI and Department of Justice, he came out 10 days before the election and, announced that he was reopening the investigation against Hillary Clinton. So I get that. I get what the Democrats say. Hey, whoa, he affected this. But in the rest of the report, you see his behavior and how he's treating basically Hillary with kid gloves. So while doing it differently for Donald Trump, or at least Mueller's doing it differently right now for Donald Trump, but he gave all of Hillary Clinton's aides immunity, right? He gave them immunity and he got nothing out of it. He got nothing out of it. He let them all have immunity for admitting that they all broke the law. And then no one got charged. It's insane. If you can't look at that and say that's not bias. Why isn't Mueller giving everybody immunity now? So that they talk. Give everybody immunity. Forgive them for their mistakes. And then you could have a case like Hillary Clinton that goes nowhere. Those were, decisions that Comey was making that were not normal decisions under the FBI regulations. He even allowed people who are witnesses in the investigation to listen to FBI interviewing other witnesses. How can you allow a witness to be in the room while you're interviewing another witness? And then they allowed, I forgot what was her name, but Hillary's lawyer or assistant at the time to actually represent Hillary when she was a witness to the case. They gave her immunity in the case. She was a witness to the case, and then they allowed her to represent Hillary. It's insane. What Comey did was just like, it made no sense. Right? And the report says all of that. So in Comey, you're looking for bias, and you say, man, he tried to play both sides of the fence. He was giving Hillary a pass, giving her whole team immunity, allowing her not to turn in evidence. He allowed them to destroy evidence. But then he comes out 10 days before the election. So you go, hey, is he biased or is he just stupid? You know, so Comey was not the guy everybody thought. Such a great FBI director. And now it comes out the guy was just a rogue FBI director. Wasn't listening to the Department of Justice. Then the report comes out against Loretta Lynch, who had that meeting with Bill Clinton on the tarmac and declares that it was poor judgment. But we all knew that. That's poor judgment. How you going to have a meeting with the husband of the person you're investigating, especially when the husband is Bill Clinton? So it's a poor decision there. So, but that's the Hillary email part, right? But when you get to the text messages coming from these FBI agents with obvious bias, you know, Peter Strzok says, I started something in this investigation, in the Hillary Clinton email investigation, that I have to finish in the Russia investigation against Trump. Those are obvious. These guys make declarations of, I'm going to stop him. He'll never be president. I'm going to stop him. None of that is bias. All of that's in the report. And then when they find Anthony Weiner's emails or Hillary's emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop, they actually withhold that information. They withhold that evidence, which is, and I think Comey was clueless, to tell you the truth, because they withheld it. Peter Strzok and Andrew McCabe withheld it from Comey. They were sitting on that for over a month. And it wasn't until the New York FBI office calls Comey and says, what are you doing with the emails we found on Anthony Weiner's computer? That Comey finds out, oh, I got to do something about these emails. And that's why he comes out and makes that statement 10 days before the election. So when trying to help Hillary, Peter Strzok and Andrew McCabe actually end up hurting Hillary. Right? And the IG, the Inspector General, actually says that he cannot declare whether there was bias used in the withholding of those emails. He can't declare whether he was biased or unbiased, Peter Strzok, in withholding those emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. So, I mean, it's interesting, right? So, Peter Strzok withholds those emails for a month. Now, keep in mind, if they would have attacked those emails immediately, they would have went through the emails, found out that basically those, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and say that those were redundant emails, that the emails they already had, and cleared Hillary from that portion of that, you know, the emails on that laptop, and Comey never has to come out and make a statement of reopening the investigation. But they were withholding it because they felt that it was going to harm Hillary. And Comey, I don't think Comey is part of the trying to make Hillary president or take down Trump. Because as soon as he finds out about the emails, he makes that announcement because he doesn't want to look foolish. He was helping Hillary. He wanted to make sure that once Hillary won, that she wouldn't be tainted by the investigation not bringing forth those emails. So he rushes out to make the statement thinking that Hillary would win anyway. So maybe he was helping Hillary. But it's interesting. This is a 500-page report. There's a lot in this report. You know, and they even have the FBI taking a bribe, basically, for leaks. The FBI was receiving tickets to events, baseball games, golfing. They were receiving payments from the media so that they would leak. That's in the report too. So when you read the headline, no bias, they're talking about Comey. The Inspector General felt that Comey showed no bias in his horrible decisions, because it does say he made horrible decisions. So there was no bias in that. But the rest of the report is full of bias. And FBI agents basically looking out for themselves and not the FBI. So, play some more music. It's interesting, though. It is interesting how the media, CNN, MSNBC. I was listening today on Morning Joe. Morning Joe. Joe going on this. I tell you, most Joes are not sensible people. But Joe Scarborough talking about it's not bias. It's not, as like if he's not getting the same information all of us are getting from this report. There's tons of information on the report. And for him to say that these are two rogue agents, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who were having that affair, when he knows that 5 agents have been referred for further action. He knows that there were more people than Peter Strzok and Lisa Page texting against Trump. You even have an FBI agent saying "Viva la resistance" against Trump. So it's like, don't believe your lying eyes, It's in the report. There's plenty of bias in there. And there's more to come. There's more. The IG is working on other reports. And keep in mind that the Department of Justice, the FBI have had this already more than 2 months. They've been going through it, pulling out whatever they want. I can't wait to see the original report. This report is what is basically the second report. The first report, a lot of stuff got stripped out. And you got to keep in mind, they're stripping out a lot of crazy things. They tell you it's national security. But in an earlier report, they had taken out that McCabe had paid $30,000 or something for a table, because they didn't want to show you that people under the Obama administration were spending ridiculous money in the FBI and everything too. They actually had removed that portion of Peter Strzok saying, "We'll stop him. He's not going to be president because we'll stop him." Now, how is that a threat to national security? That was removed from the initial text that came out months ago. All you got months ago was a portion of that text where Lisa Page is saying he's not going to be president, is he? He's when she's asking the question, and they removed Peter Strzok's answer of "We'll stop him." So you can't trust the Department of Justice or the FBI with these reports, because they're removing information that's pertinent to the investigation, especially the Senate investigation, the House investigations, where they're trying to figure out whether this Russian collusion was started fairly. The Russian collusion investigation. All right, let me play some music and I'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
All I hear is silence. Pray I ain't taking another loss.
Life came with a course and we all pay it. Names engraved, claim the graves that we laying. They gon' tell you they love you, won't tell you when they was hating. And them saying that's gon' fake it until they make it. The rest of us out here gon' get it, cause we gon' take it. Don't tell me what you got, tell me how you got it. That ain't the life you live, so how you figure you bought it. I'ma rebuild till I die. You say the same and I doubt it. You let the hype gas you up. I'm hot regardless without it. Never been the type to brag, but I got this in the bag. And I'm trying, boy, to go for it. I just shit never had. Give my dad a bigger crib, mama better way to live. My sister's the comfortability of not needing these niggas. Build me a house up on the mountain of some issue. Make it see through just to walk around but naked in that bitch. I deserve it. All the time I put in, hustling and grinding for ends, can't tell me I don't deserve it. All the time I put in, hustling and grinding for ends, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For every time I fought tears, feeling alone all these years, fighting and facing my fears, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For all the time I fought tears, feeling alone all these years, fighting and facing my fears, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For every night I stayed up with a pain in my gut, cold wind in my strut, don't know where I'm going, but I'm going and I ain't looking back. Could only blame myself, thinking only if I could've took it back. I've been stupid, I've been foolish, but I'm growing, show improvement. If I got something to prove, then I'm proving it to myself. Then no matter how hard it get, I'ma play the cards that I dealt. Go hard for what I felt, but I'm feeling like killing everything in my path. Don't nothing last too long, even the pain stay strong till I'm under the grave and gone. Gotta get right for every time I did wrong. For every night I sat up like the cuff descended all. Got up from A4, standing tall, never gave up. Leave it to them to try to make it seem like they made us, cause they be showing love to disguise the fact that they hate us. Been in the game too long, nerve of them to try to play us. MVP most valid position, I'm comfortable wherever they couldn't fit in. You could have all the riches and be dead broke and need a fixing. Tell me what's your intentions, why they try to change sneakers. I'm trying to change the conditions, I deserve it. All the time I put in, hustling and grinding for ends, can't tell me I don't deserve it. All the time I put in, hustling and grinding for ends, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For every time I fought tears, feeling alone all these years, fighting and facing my fears, can't tell me I don't deserve it. For all the time I fought tears, feeling alone all these years, fighting and facing my fears, can't tell me I don't deserve it. I deserve it. Can't tell me I don't deserve it.
Alright. You're listening to Breaking News with Harry, aka The Brave. Once again, if you're tuning in looking for drive-by headlines, No Show Joe ducked out of the show because he's having problems with his feelings. You know, it's hard when you're losing. I get it. I don't lose, but, I don't lose much. But I understand, Joe. All right, so let me just read from the report that portion that I was talking about, Hillary Clinton's emails, and this is straight from the report. Wait, hold on, let me get it. The report is critically flawed in its bizarre conclusion that the IG cannot rule. Okay, the report is critically flawed in its bizarre conclusion that the IG, the Inspector General, cannot rule out the could not rule out with confidence the possibility that Special Agent Strzok's political bias may have been a cause of the FBI's failure between September 29 to October 25th, 2016, to seek a second search warrant for the Anthony Weiner laptop. Strzok's attorneys. See, the thing is that what the IG determined is that Peter Strzok, who was in charge of investigating Hillary Clinton, her emails, her destroying her server, deleting all of her, or like 30,000 emails. So he was in charge of that investigation, but he's also the guy who starts the counterintelligence investigation into Russia meddling against Trump. So he decides to switch, he decides to move from Hillary Clinton's emails towards the end of it, when those Anthony Weiner emails show up, he decides to switch his focus to the Russia investigation and Trump. So the IG is saying he can't determine whether that was bias in switching his focus from Hillary to Trump towards the end of that investigation. So, you see, for me, and that's the thing, people are looking, oh, well, there's no smoking gun. That's a smoking gun. He finds out that Anthony Weiner's laptop has thousands of Hillary Clinton's emails, and he puts it on the back burner to go after Donald Trump. To start a counterintelligence investigation against the Russian collusion and whether Donald Trump was involved in it. Now, so come on, that's obvious, but the IG says he can't determine, of course, because you can't determine what's going on in a person's mind, but it should be easy to judge by his behavior. That he switched his focus from Hillary Clinton and all of those Anthony Weiner emails because he didn't want to go through them because it may have hurt Hillary. But, the IG wrote whatever he wants to write. All right, let's, I'm going to finish off right here. I'm going to read this article from Jonathan Turley, law professor and constitutional, historian. Jonathan Turley said it was, and this story, I'm going to read it, but this story is about, what's his name? Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general, Rod Rosenstein, who has now decided he's going to start threatening congressional aides. He's threatening to subpoena them and their families if they keep asking him questions. Is that an abuse of power, people? Or is it okay because you want him to go after Trump? Is that an abuse of power? So Jonathan Turley said it was really reckless for Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to threaten to subpoena lawmakers and staff on a Republican-led House committee during a tense meeting earlier this year. Now, the thing is that Congress has oversight over the FBI and the Department of Justice. They have oversight. So they have every legal right to look into whatever investigation they want because they are the oversight over them. They're above the FBI. But Rod Rosenstein doesn't think so. I guess he thinks he's above the law. No one could touch the FBI. No one could touch the Department of Justice. So Fox News' Catherine Hedridge reported Tuesday on emails that described a tense closed-door meeting in January written by House Intelligence Committee staffers. They said Rosenstein threatened to subpoena emails, phone records, and other documents from lawmakers and aides on the committee in response to inquiries regarding the Russia probe. He's tired of them asking him to produce documents, the proof. Give us the witnesses. Show. And he could do this in closed-door meetings with Congress. He's just refusing to do his job. He's refusing to respond to the oversight of Congress. They should hold him in contempt. They should impeach him. Right? Because we don't want people to be above the law. I hear this from Democrats all the time. How they need to get Donald Trump because nobody's above the law. Well then, the investigators can't be above the law. All right, people. I'm going to get out of here. You've been listening to breaking news, not drive-by headlines. Because once again, No Show Joe didn't show. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll Catch you Monday. See ya.
Resolute of heart, make firm thy mind. The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside.
This is Harry
Every
Grove,
man
and you're
is
listening to
destined
WMHHLP
for
103.5.
I'm feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach in it. Put an effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you thoughts widely, choose advancement or towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.